You know what else is hot and heating up? This case on the East Coast, upstate New York. We've been talking about it now for 2 weeks. We're in the second week of this manhunt for these two guys that broke out of prison. And that woman right there at the center of the controversy, Joyce Mitchell, is that her name? Okay, Joyce was the head of the tailor shop in the prison. And now it's like, I don't know if it's a love triangle or whatever, but she helped them get the tools, she helped them escape, and now they're charging her. You got some inside scoop on this one. What's going on with this woman?
Well, a little look behind the curtain. She's a cooperating witness. That is a whole different realm of existence.
So wait, they're being nice to her now.
They're not only being nice to her, they've given her a lid, they call it, or a top on the case. The most she can get out of this case is 7 years, and frankly, she won't get that. But that's in return for her debriefing and giving all kinds of information that hopefully will be useful in apprehending these two convicted murderers. She could have been facing on a conspiracy charge, anything that they did, violent or killing, she could be charged with that, but they decided to forego that and give her a little top on it. It's helping people to escape, and so now they're using her information to see if they can't track these fellows down.
Well, she gave them the tools.
Right.
She was supposed to be the getaway driver and be parked out there ready to go. And then there's rumors, too, that maybe this was some sort of murder for hire. She's on her second husband, and they're saying maybe this Sweat guy, the one she was romantically involved with, and the other inmate that escaped, were going to get out and help her kill her current husband so they could run away together.
Here's the interesting thing about that. If she was involved in that, if she was part of the discussion and encouraged these guys to at least plan to kill her husband, it's almost impossible to prove, because you can't prove it from her words, which are what she gave to law enforcement. You would have to have one of these guys, when they're apprehended, testify against her. And I would say that's got a snowball's chance because when they apprehend these guys, they're going to go after him hammer and tongs. So she's not going to face solicitation for murder. She's going to get sentenced. It'll probably be after these two guys are apprehended and get sentenced themselves, and it won't be anywhere near the maximum 7 years that she faces.
All right, and finally, let's come to a local case now that's causing a little controversy. I just read this on the air here to our viewers. John, I think it was Monday, word came down that Mr. Goforth, he's the gentleman right there, you see him, that is accused of setting the Twin Palms Bistro on fire to cover up stealing over $2,000. He was a former employee, and the owner of the restaurant, pretty upset. I even hear some within the DA's office, prosecution, a little upset about this plea deal. He's getting out and getting, like, what, 5 years of probation when there could have been some serious damage done. People could have been hurt. Luckily, everybody got out of that restaurant that night. Right. But, I mean, really? You're getting out that soon, since February?
This was a plea to the court with a 12-year suspended sentence. So what the court did was they looked at the mental health workup that was done by the defense and said, okay, you're right, this guy doesn't have a criminal record. There are serious mental health issues here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sentence him to 12 years, but I'm going to suspend that sentence. I'm going to give him 5 years probation. He's going to have to do a year in mental health treatment, and he's going to have to get through the remaining 4 years of the 5 years without any violations, and then he will have earned his way out of this. Otherwise, he violates the law, he goes for 12 years. That is a fair resolution of a case like this, given the fact that even though it could have been worse, it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Okay, and obviously you know a lot of folks out there in our local court system. So you're hearing inside here, this guy does have some mental health issues that are serious enough for the judge to go, I'm going to commute this sentence. Because, I mean, let's be real. If you or I went and lit a place on fire filled with patrons at a restaurant, even though nobody got hurt, we're going to get out after only 5 months in jail?
Well, you're going to have to ask yourself, why would we do it? And frankly, the answer to this is he had serious mental health issues. And it was not something trumped up. This was something that was documented.
Yeah, and we know, obviously, we've seen so many issues the last several years with people with mental health issues, with a lot of these mass gun shootings and whatnot. That ends up being the problem, is a mental health issue that went undiagnosed or untreated. So if that legitimately is what happened with Mr. Goforth here in this case, then it's understandable. But I know a lot of people were sounding off on this case, pretty upset that he got out. So
it's the right kind of resolution, although it's hard to understand from the outside looking in.
Gotcha. John Patrick Dolan, always love going on the docket with you. You got great inside scoop to stuff. We'll see you next week.
Indeed.
Okay, 55 minutes past the hour. More news when we return. Don't go away. You're watching.